Okay, that's one. The second part of this is the risk by age. Age is the single most important risk factor for bad outcomes, like, for instance, death after you get infected. The single most important risk factors. So, for instance, relative to 70 to 79-year-olds, if everyone's equally exposed to the disease, children 0 to 19 are 3,560 times less likely to die from COVID if they get infected. 3,000 times less likely to die. The thousand-fold difference between the oldest and the youngest. As you can see, the risk grows very sharply with age. I have a rule of thumb, and the rule of thumb is very simple. I'm 53 years old. The infection fatality rate for me turns out to be about 0.2%. So 99.8 survival. That's like the average. For every 7 years of age, either up or down, if you go 7 years of age older, you double. So someone who's 60 will have an infection fatality rate of 0.4. Someone who's 46 will have an infection fatality rate of 0.1. So you can calculate your own infection fatality rate just by that very simple metric. 0.2 for 53-year-olds, and then add 7 or subtract 7 and divide. Okay. The data on this, and the information on this has now been confirmed by many other seroprevalence studies. So here you have one in Sweden that was conducted, and you get very similar results almost everywhere in the world that these studies have been conducted. So for women, girls 0 to 9, the survival rate, if for healthy children, is incredibly high, 99.99996. Same thing for healthy boys. Even for boys and girls, young boys and girls with one or more underlying conditions, chronic conditions, if you get COVID, it's still quite a very high survival rate, 99.96. As people age, the survival rate goes down. And so by the time you reach, for instance, 80-year-old men with one or more underlying conditions, the survival rate is actually only 92%. It's actually quite high for infectious disease. So this depends both on age and on underlying conditions, but the most important factor that explains mortality after infection is age. That's the single most important thing, if you want to understand. For instance, men 80 and up, one or more underlying conditions, almost a 20% infection fatality rate. So for older men, this is an extremely high risk.